How to stay lucid. I'm pretty sure you've all heard about the term stay woke. It means once you wake up in this waking dream and you're aware about what's going on and who you really are, everything changes. So the reason I say how to stay lucid is because I compare this waking dream, this physical life experience of multiverses and infinity and parallel realities to a nightly dream where you can experience lucidity. Lucidity is just being not so attached to one version. In other words, it's similar to a state of being, but in terms of explaining it, it's almost like the gamma waves of your brain. Now there's all these theta, beta, alpha, and then there's gamma. From what I understand, the term gamma gives you that place from where you can choose and observe and specify your living experience. It's almost like, and you don't have to know anything about these brain waves, it's just to give you context. And if you heard anything different, put them in the comments below, but this is from what I understand. So this is almost a certain state of brainwave where your understanding or your frequency is not of any one particular specific reality. You are almost all realities all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. But we can't be that in physical individuality. We always have to pick a reality, pick a story, pick a timeline that serves us. But the reason for lucidity is so that you can detach yourself from the current in order to assess and evaluate and know where you are and where you'd like to be, or where you are is okay for you, or if you need to make any tweaks. In other words, change or shift into another version of you where things are different. So that is what lucidity means. It means to be able to understand that appearances, the solid people, places, things, circumstances, documents, evidence, legalities, authorities, everything that is environmentally and societally in front of your face, jobs, money, lack of money, whatever, bosses, colleagues, friends, family, specific romantic partners, third parties, situations, all of that, that's environmentally and physically and solidly appearing in front of you is not as solid as you perceive it to be from your bodily perception and senses. From your body and brain, of course, they're solid and one and real and final. But that's not actually the case because you are not one body. You are infinite bodies. And within those infinite bodies are versions of your current theme or life. So, for example, you are John Doe II, born in 1995 in small town Ohio at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. All of those details are very specific to a version of you. Your social security number is 123456. That's a version of John Doe II. But there's John Doe II, whose social security number is 123456. They were born at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. Everything's exactly the same, but in that world, that John Doe is a multimillionaire. He has, let's say, $500 million in his bank account. He's living the life. He's going on vacations and cruises and flying first class and buying houses and has a bunch of girlfriends or whatever. Maybe that's the John Doe you would like to be. But currently you're the John Doe who has a 9-to-5 job and makes, I don't know, maybe $40,000 a year, and you are having issues with your girlfriend or boyfriend and you don't like this life and everything is very solid and real. But now you know there's many John Does. So what you are able to do is you're able to view, in a sense, and rather than see what your eyes tell you, you're able to view the options. Almost like you can select and choose from a bookshelf all the various books that are on there and decide which one you want to open up. So once you can view and know yourself to be the one and only I am pure consciousness, then you can inhabit any John Doe version physically that you want. So when you decided on your timeline, your story, your specific story and linear life, things begin to go in that direction. You're always working without evidence first. You don't need that evidence. You are the evidence, right? So for example, you only have maybe $90,000 saved in your bank account right now. You are 35 years old and you opened your first bank account at, say, 16. Your mother or father put in like $500 and you got your first job working at the ice cream shop, whatever. But this John Doe, perhaps the one that has $500 million, he just always had like $100 million in his bank account from when he can last remember. It was possibly an inheritance or a gift, but it was always that way. So something like that will be the story of your transition. I'll make another video on money and manifesting out of thin air, but this is really all it means. It comes with a story that'll make sense and fit in and allow you to conduct satisfactorily in that direction. So for example, say you are stepping into and you've identified with this John Doe has $500 million in his account and is living the life of your dreams. You are now lucid enough to know you are neither and you are all at the same time. So you are able to choose freely and unrelatedly to any circumstances or any past, and know there is no connection or continuity unless you give it some. So, in order for $500 million to show up in your bank account, it's not a big deal, but you're going to have to just be able to accept that without any preconditions of shame or guilt or any of that stuff, because that's unrelatable to you, because it's yours. In the story, it might be like you might have a mismemory or a remembered incorrectly memory where you think that your mom took you to the bank and deposited $500 to open your first bank account at 16. And then you got your first job and you kept putting money in there and using it for your car payments, your lifestyle, your parties, your movies, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, whatever. So that's been your one story. But with the $500 million, your story can pretty much look like, yeah, sure, it was open when you were 16, but instead of $500, you were deposited $100 million, from which you then opened businesses and you made enough money for it to show $500 million. So do not worry about the gaps and filling in the gaps. There will be stories and explanations and legitimate documents and visible, physical, worldly proof to support your outcome. So a lot of people worry about this stuff stitching itself together to make the story. You don't have to make any of that happen. You don't have to go and get 10 jobs and worry how you're going to make your next $1 million. Forget about $500 million, right? So this is how lucidity works. You're supposed to know that when you step into and choose a version, everything is already prepared and made. You're just accepting it. So staying lucid is a choice and is a conscious choice that you make every day. You can forget your new story and go back to your old timeline very easily. So I highly suggest you take the first hour of your waking morning, so wake up an hour earlier if you need to adjust and readjust your timeline. If you want to be the John Doe who has the $500 million in your bank account, you need to set your mind correctly so that you don't behave incorrectly and lose that $500 million, because it's already yours. Your memory is malleable, and you're accepting and standing by and holding true to that accepted story is all you need to do. So I would highly suggest you write down your new life in as many ways as possible so that you can remind yourself and not have stupid amnesia and then freak out when your specific person lover is sleeping beside your bed, only to remember that they were married to somebody else and they ditched you 10 years ago. That's not going to help you. You're going to lose your mind and you're going to lose your manifestations and you're going to scare away your world and yourself. So that is what holding on to your new story and being lucid is. You don't have to hold on in the sense as in your fear of losing it. You just have to be cognizant and awake and lucid enough in the dream, in the waking dream, to know consciously which story you've chosen, because they are all real and factual timelines. Physically, we all know all of that by now. These are not fictional, imaginary, potential timelines. These are all real. Only one potential can be objectively observed at a time. So, I would highly suggest to repeat your chosen story enough times for you to accept it as your reigning and current and present truth. That's what will keep you in your chosen timeline or reality. Repetition, revisiting, reiteration, reinforcement is a nature of human behavior that keeps something repeating, replicating, and constant in your visible world. Use that to your favor. Anyways, this video was made to remind you that you can stay lucid by simply choosing that to be the case. Once you're awake, why would you want to go back to sleep? Why would you want to lose all the knowledge you have gained? You don't need to, unless you choose to. And then you wouldn't know what's going to hit you, and you'll be complaining about your life, searching for answers again. So staying lucid is similar to the term staying woke, staying awake. And it's not difficult, and I think that once you enter it, it just becomes your normal. If at any point in time you find yourself to have fallen asleep, whether it's in a different incarnation or a similar story, just a different version, you can pick yourself back up by knowing the truth of who you are. So staying lucid is easy once you have woken up, because you will always, in my opinion, continue to do so, because the possibilities are endless. The world is your oyster, so to speak. You will not see things for what they are. You will see things for who you are. You will see through illusions. You will understand the nature and the meaning you give to appearances. You will understand the role of appearances. As I say, the best you can say is they are behaviors of molecules behaving. Energy is always in motion. It's always behaving. Behaviors of molecules and glitches of molecules have no meaning in and of themselves. They are not the source. They are simply behaviors of this one and only source, which is you, I am. So staying lucid in this waking dream is exactly similar to staying lucid in your nightly dreams, and I believe that is why we have nightly dreams, in order for us to wake up to the real truth and fact that the living, breathing, environmental, daily, physical experience is our waking dream in the exact way the nightly dreams happen. If you have questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll talk to you in the next video.